Welcome to the labor movement, brothers and sisters.
The spending bill that boosts teacher pay ended the walkout, but not the Red for Ed movement. We got insight from Hank Stephenson, who covers education policy for the Arizona Daily Star and followed the protest closely. We began by asking how the budget benefits both the movement's organizers and the governor.
I think you could say both sides are victorious. Ducey, heads into the campaign season with a major win. He's promised 20% raises for teachers. He's already delivered on 10% raises for teachers. I think that really bolsters his standing within the education community that, up to this point, it was basically cuts. And in the final year of his first term, he goes and puts a lot of money in there. So going into the election, that's certainly going to help him. It gives him a signature piece of his budget that he can campaign on. And also, teachers did get a 9% raise, more or less, with promises of more to come. Schools got another $100 million of district additional assistance with promises of more to come. Nobody was truly happy with this plan. The teachers wanted more. The governor offered less and really had to be dragged to the table to provide what he did. And legislators as well didn't want to go this high. They think that it's unsustainable spending, but that's compromise. I think that both sides can walk away from this and say, we didn't get everything we wanted, but it was a win. And, nobody's lying in that sense.
Okay, some state dollars got moved around. Some things had to go to the bottom of the priority list to include the school safety plan. As we know, here in Pima County, there will be a tax on the desegregation dollars. Ultimately, will this be worth it, or will the public think, was this the right move at the right time?
Well, I think it hits Pima County especially hard because of the shift in the way that they're going to tax that desegregation levy. It will hit local taxpayers. They're going to end up paying more in their property tax bills. But overall, I think that, some other things were cut. There were some increases. We lost $11 million that the governor had promised for school resource officers. There's going to be some fee hikes when you go to renew your car registration, things like that. But overall, we made education a priority, which is what the public, the teachers who were walking out of their classroom, pretty much everyone in the state said that we needed to do this year. So some other things had to go by the wayside if you're not willing to raise taxes, which our legislature and our governor are not ever going to do, at least not in the near future.
Speaking of the near future, we have an election coming up in the fall. Red for Ed has said, remember in November. That's the new slogan. Will we see some new faces in the legislature, or at least attempting to get in to change this?
Teachers are riled up to take over the legislature. But you hear that every 2 years. Every time there's an election, it's remember in November, we're going to change the legislature. I think this year, honestly, might be a little bit different. I think that we've never seen anything quite like what we saw with the Red for Ed movement. I think that the president has riled up the Democratic base to go out there and vote. So already in a midterm election with one party controlling Congress and the presidency, we're going to see more Democratic voters. So that gives an opportunity to change some of those swing districts in the legislature, but I wouldn't expect a Democratic majority.
The walkout did create some divisiveness. As we know, there were teachers who walked out, those who stayed behind, and then we hear parents who said, I'm really upset with the way the district handled things in our community. Will we see some repercussions come out of this?
I think that we'll see hurt feelings for some time. I was out in Vail Unified School District the day that they opened, and they opened on a Tuesday, I think it was, and the rest of the state essentially went back to school on a Friday. And there were still protests on the street corner there. There were a lot of parents who were frustrated, both that schools had been closed down, that Vail wasn't sticking with the rest of the public schools in the state and staying closed down. There are teachers who didn't want to go back to work that were kind of dragged back to work. There were those that didn't want to leave work that were essentially kicked out of work. So I think we'll see some division that will last for some time as people remember who walked out, who didn't want to walk out. And, they also kind of deepen the divide between public district schools and public charter schools, which there were some public charter schools that went along with the Red for Ed, actually closed down the entire time, a couple here in Tucson, but the vast majority did not. Something that the Charter School Association was really harping on, look at our schools, they're not closed. Your district schools are closed, but hey, consider charters, we won't close on you. So I think there are a lot of divisions that were kind of stirred up by this, some of them pre-existing and some of them new.
All right, Hank, thank you so much.
Thank you.